a joint school board meeting a couple weeks back now, where all the different school boards came together. And one thing that kept coming up across a bunch of them was the increased need for funding for mental health. And, you know, that was just kind of, they just said mental health. And I'm like, okay, well, what is that? You know, what are kids seeing? What are they facing? That sort of thing.
When I took this position, we jumped from 3.5 to 10. And this school year, we have 16 mental health clinicians on staff. We are seeing increased anxiety and depression with students. Since the pandemic, we have doubled our risk assessments this year, which means that suicidal ideation is high or higher than what it's been in the past. So we as a district have added, you know, mental health clinicians, but I still know that we're not meeting all the needs. There are still higher level of cares that we need to be able to refer out. York County has a lack of mental health programs in general. We have a lack of psychiatry. We currently have a therapist shortage. There are organizations in this community that have wait lists of 100+.
How could it be that somebody that seems to have everything together would be struggling? I don't know, in terms of, especially as it relates to servicing children, is that something y'all see much, that, you know, hey, here's people maybe that aren't necessarily acting out or would give every indication that things are going well, but there's still a need there?
I call those children the silent sufferers, because you do overlook those children. They are doing well in school. They are active proponents. They are socially involved. However, some of those that are the high performers, or the those are the ones that you need to check on every now and then, because they have such anxiety about being a high performer that anytime that they don't make that A or don't make that team, that may be a trigger for them. And that, so you do have to look at those individuals. And then we also oftentimes talk to teachers, when we provide in-services, about the kid who's sleeping in the back of your class. Maybe they're not a behavioral problem. Maybe they are sleeping, and you take that as a behavioral problem, but there could be some underlying depression as to why that child is sleeping in class. So we do have to look at those issues as well. They don't put up a big stink, and you may not know that they're struggling, but there could be. Or the child that sits in the corner and that's not socially active. We also have to pay a lot of attention to that child as well.
I believe open communication with your child, being aware of any changes in mood, the things that they do on a regular basis, who are their friend groups, paying attention to sleeping patterns, all those things you have to keep in mind. But the main thing is being open. And a lot of times with students in their parent relationships, students will be pretty honest about if you ask them. But I think the relationship has to be there to where they feel open enough to tell you what's going on. But a part of that is the way we communicate with them from a perspective that we're truly trying to find out about them and their well-being.